Welcome to my YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, share and drop a comment. Don't forget to turn on the notification icon. Thank you. In this tutorial, we'll be learning how to make a cape with bead. You can use any type of bead for this cape. You can use any size, you can use any color, you can use a pearl, you can use seed beads. You can design it as you want. This is a beautiful fashion accessory. This is a twine. It's a very strong thread that you can use, or a fishing line. While doing this, you need a strong thread. Okay, I'll be using this seed bead. I'll be using my needle with a thread. Just for this tutorial, I'm using a polyester sewing thread, the normal sewing thread. However, if you are doing it for a client, please use a stronger thread, because if it is something that will stay for a long time, you need it to be durable. The first thing to do is to make this structure. This serves as the structure for our cape. I will need my needle and thread. I will insert the seed bead into the needle and thread. This thread I'm using is about 120 inches long, and I will insert 180 seed beads into it. If you are using a bigger bead, you might not need a needle. You can just insert your thread into the bead if the hole of the bead is large enough to accommodate your thread. But since I'm using seed bead, that's why I'm using a needle. For a big bead also, you don't need 180. I'm using 180 seed beads here because I need 3 rows and 60 columns. 3 rows and 60 columns. That is why I'm using the 180. But if you're using a bigger bead, you don't need up to 180. After inserting my seed beads, what I'll do is to try to get the center of the thread. So I'll push the first 3 beads to the center. That's the 3 beads at the center. Pick my needle, move another set of 3 beads towards the center, and I'll put my needle through it from the top to the bottom. I'll keep repeating this process until I exhaust my 180 seed beads. By then, I will have 3 rows and 60 columns. Please note that it mustn't be the 180. You can reduce, you can increase. It depends on the length you want for your cape. The next thing to do now is to pass my excess thread through the bead just to secure the work, to give it extra strength also. I made 6 of this structure. You can increase the number of structure as you please, but I made 6 of it. Now the next thing to do is to try to cut a pattern. I'm using this fabric just for the pattern. It's not compulsory you use a fabric. You can use a pattern paper, and you can eyeball your cape if you are good at eyeballing, but I'm using this material. I will measure my neck circumference and I'll divide it by 6.28. That is what I'm marking there. I divided the neck circumference by 6.28 at the upper part, and here, right here, the length of my cape, just to get the circular cape shape. After cutting my pattern, I'll place the structure, the cape structure, on it at interval. It's not compulsory, it's at regular interval. You can increase the distance or reduce it as you want, and you can, as I said earlier, you can increase the number of structure you are using. The next thing I'll do is to tape it with sellotape, just for it to stay in place and not move. The next thing to do is to use this seed bead to fill my cape. I'll put my needle and thread to the first column and I'll fill it with the seed bead. And since I'm using a pattern, I don't have to count the number of beads I use. All I just do is I'll put the bead and I'll gauge it at interval to know if it is enough for that particular space. Once I've put enough bead, I'll pass it through the first column of the second structure, and that is how I'll continue until I get to the other end. And that is how you keep filling until you finish with the cape. If you want a very full cape, you keep going without skipping any column. But for me, at some point, I started skipping. So my cape wasn't all that full. But if you want it full, please don't skip. This is what I have eventually. This is the cape. The next thing to do at this point is to put a closure. You can use a chain. You attach a chain or a ribbon. For me, for this tutorial, I'll be using this ribbon. Just keep watching and I'll see how I'll attach the ribbon.